Good morning. Today I thought I'd give you a rundown of my equipment, what's in my bag. It was a pretty cold morning when I got up this morning. It's warmed up a lot since the sun came up. It's about 16 degrees when I got up. It was pretty nippy inside the camper. It was a whopping 50 degrees inside. Took a little while to warm up, but I'm going to get a little fire going and help that out a little. While this fire gets going, I'm going to sit down and take a few minutes to myself. Keeping it nice and small, just a little personal fire. It's an absolutely beautiful morning. Sky is blue, no clouds. The sun is out. Warming up by the fire. Let's go ahead and get into the bag. We'll start with outside pockets. Generally speaking, on the outside I have wet weather gear, bag cover, which honestly I've only ever used to keep it. When I was in a swamp, I put this down and put the bag on top of it. The bag itself is relatively water resistant. Haven't had it, but I haven't been in a downpour with it either. So have it. Actually, that's this one. This is a cover for the lens and camera. My own gear, wet weather pants. That's all that's in that pocket. Clamp for the GoPro. This is my ball head, which I don't use it the same way most people use it. I actually clamp this to a small tripod, or screw it into a small tripod and keep it as a low tripod to the ground. Use it for handheld and just something where I want a little smaller or don't want to carry the big heavy tripod. Nice little mat. Keep yourself dry and comfortable. My pipe. Don't always carry that with me, but I do today. Some 3D camo, which comes in handy. Rolls up small. These are the pants. They're in this bag. They're covered in stickers and briars right now. That's why they're in the bag. They tend to collect a lot of debris. Let's see here. Notebook, journal. This particular one, I don't know if you can see that or not. This particular one, these are some notes on some different tracks. These are coyote, differentiating between dog and coyote, bobcat, fox, red fox. We have some raccoon information. We have the tracks, but we also have, I have different gait patterns listed here, so it helps with identification and with the tracking of whatever prey you are looking for. Miscellaneous things, some rope, cotton, tissue. You know, you never know when you're going to need that in the woods. Extra hat for those nasty areas. Head net, mosquito net, extra layer, windbreaker, and let's see here, compass. I'm more of an old school guy when it comes to maps and compasses. I'm not much of a GPS guy. And then pens and other things that are in here. A few tools, some Allens, screwdriver, need any adjustments. Yep, that's what's in there. And this pack actually is the Mindshift pack. It is the 36, it's the backlight 36 liter. It's quite comfortable. It's base weight, it's a little heavy, but not too bad, not compared to some other packs. It does the job. It's not too big, not too small. While it's sitting back here, I don't always bring this along, but especially when I'm going into like little swampy areas or down by ponds, where I don't really necessarily need to sit in the mud or the water. This comes in handy. Folds up nice and small, can strap it right to the pack. Smoke's coming this way. We'll go ahead and let that burn out. That may have just been worse. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look inside. We're going to go ahead and put this out. Let's get back to it. Inside the lid, the back panel on the top keeps spare batteries. There's only a few here. Most of them need charging, but we have spare battery for the monitor, which I'll show you in a little bit. Camera batteries, and typically GoPro batteries as well. I keep my used batteries in the lower pocket with a couple other pieces. Inside, I have a small container that has my miscellaneous video equipment in it, the arms, small stand, extra connector cable, an assortment of ND filters, a couple different sizes. I have the 95s for the big lens, and I have 77s with adapters for all my other lenses. That way they all fit and I could use them with everything. Cable release, don't use it very often. Interestingly, I use it more when I'm shooting macro. Cleaning kit, cannot emphasize enough. Keeping your lenses clean. You know, with a blower, these two I use constantly, and it's also important keep your sensor clean, especially if you're using a mirrorless. I'm using a Nikon Z6, and with the mirrorless you don't have anything protecting your sensor when you take your lenses off, so they tend to get rather dirty. Have the Zoom H1N. It's a small voice recorder. Use it for quite a few things, where there's just ambient sounds or voiceovers, a lot of different things. More ND filters for the GoPro. There's a variable that I use for video. Let's go here. A clip, more equipment for the GoPro. Clip it on while you're walking. I have a Peak Design strap, which I don't use very often. I just started recently using it, and I have some connections onto my bigger lens so I can strap it and not have to carry it while I'm hiking so much. Alright, we have a 1.4 teleconverter. It's an off-brand. It works okay. Not the best, but it's tremendously cheaper than a Nikon brand. I rarely use it, but at times I will. It does come in handy when I'm doing video, long distance, birds, that sort of thing. Subjects that are much smaller. Lenses. It's a classic 50mm 1.8. I've had it since I've started photography with Nikon. It's a great little lens. If you're shooting portraits, occasionally I used to shoot portraits a lot. I'll shoot portraits every once in a while. This also works very well for video. I really like it for video, as long as you're using it with manual focus. because the focus motor is very loud. The majority of my video work, though, I do use manual focus and pull my own focus. Sigma 105mm 2.8 macro. I actually really like this lens. I don't use it very often, but when I do, it's extremely sharp. The only downside to it is it tends to, after you use it for a while, the focus motor will lock up. It gets overheated, I think, and so you just have to have a little patience with it. But generally speaking, I don't use it that often, so it's not generally an issue for me. Have some earbuds in here, checking the sound quality. This is my workhorse lens. It's a Nikkor 200 to 500mm f5.6 zoom. It's not overly large. It's easily handheld, and it's a fantastic lens. I can't say enough good things about this lens. For video work, I actually like the zoom capability as well. It works very well. And since I use the Z series, we have the F to Z adapter, and that's what we use on that. Let me pull you around here. We'll go ahead and just take a look at this while it's on the stand here. I do use a Feel World monitor. I believe it's a 7-inch monitor. My little makeshift sunshade around it, which personally I don't see why you would ever purchase one. It's just too easy to make. I have a small little video mount up on the hot shoe, which allows me to put some accessories. I don't put a lot of things on it. I don't want to weight it down too much, but it works. I have a microphone. I actually have it mounted onto the side. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's the Nikon Z6. Fantastic camera. I am very pleased with it. A lot of people may say that for wildlife it's not the optimal camera, which, depending on what you're photographing, and for birds in flight, yeah, it's not the best camera. But for the majority, say 95% of what I shoot, it does a fantastic, phenomenal job. And I absolutely love the mirrorless features. I love the camera. It's fantastic. Now granted, this is with my phone. This little video clip is with my phone. The lighting is getting harsh. My phone's terrible video. But my batteries ran out of my GoPro, which I was using, because I neglected to charge them last night. That's just what happens, you know. You know how GoPros are. They don't last very long at all. The equipment I use it's a simplistic setup. I have very few lenses. I certainly don't carry them all with me when I'm out in the field. Usually I'll have my 200 to 500 on my Z6, my GoPro. I usually carry my 24 to 70. Sometimes it just depends on what I'm doing, but generally speaking, it's the 24 to 70 in the bag, with the 200 to 500 mounted to the Z6, and carry a few peripheral things with me. If I'm doing video work, I bring my video equipment with me. I don't always bring the monitor, but it certainly helps with the, especially in the bright daylight. I actually find it quite useful if I'm having everything mounted and on the tripod and everything like that, because it becomes a little more bulky, especially with the longer lens. But basically what I'm saying is that with my own style and philosophy within photographing and videoing. I try to keep it minimal. Any of you that walk a lot, that put a few miles on, the less weight you have on your back, the more comfortable and the longer you can go. So I try to keep it minimal. And if there are any questions about the equipment that I use, how I like it, anything like that, please feel free to leave a comment, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. I'm pretty up to date on correspondence that way. However, for example, the last 18 days I've been off-grid, no reception, no cell reception, no internet, anything like that. So that happens from time to time. For the most part, you can get reception just about anywhere, except for these remote areas. And interestingly, those are my favorite places to go. So hopefully you enjoyed taking a look at my gear and in my bag. And until next time, please give a like, subscribe, share if you'd like. I appreciate it. And have a wonderful day.